Hello, this is Hunter McDermott with another Anyone Can Play Guitar video, and I thought today I'd talk about tuners. The main thing I want to impart upon you is don't overthink it. I'm going to run through just a few of the too many tuners that I have, and we'll talk about the strengths and weaknesses of them and why ultimately it doesn't really matter. None of this stuff matters. So it sounds like it'll be a very useful video, I'm sure. Anyway, let's take a look. All right, I should say right off the bat that this is not an endorsement nor an indictment of any of these tuners. This is just what I have and have acquired over the years. So take a look. We've got these various clip-on tuners. This is these two are D'Addarios. This is Snark. You've seen this probably all over the place. These are a little bit different in that this one is just the NS Micro, I believe, so it clips on just like the other two, but it's kind of supposed to be small, and you kind of put it on the back of the headstock or someplace discreet, so you don't just have this big ugly tuner clipped on the edge of your guitar. Not that there's anything wrong with that. These are also cheap enough where you can buy several of them and just kind of keep them clipped on all of your guitars rather than moving one tuner from guitar to guitar if you have multiple guitars. This is an old one that's got more of an analog dial on it, and it's also got an in-out, an input and an output, so you can theoretically keep it plugged in through your electric guitar or acoustic electric, and it will just give you a constant update on your tuner. It'll just be waggling back and forth the whole time. I don't think this cuts the signal, so if you turn it off, I don't really know. But anyway, we've got this Korg here, which is a combination of a tuner and a metronome, and it also has an input. It doesn't have an output, so you can plug your guitar into it if you're in a loud situation and tune, but it doesn't have an output, so you'd have to unplug it and plug your guitar back into the amp or whatever. I should say these clip-on tuners work by using vibration. So clip it onto the end of the guitar. Even if you're in a really loud room, it's not using a microphone, so that excess noise won't affect it. It picks up the vibrations of the instrument that it's clipped to, so that can be really handy for that reason. We've got a tuning fork. Probably won't be able to hear that, but this is A440, and this can be nice. You put it on your guitar. Actually, we can probably make some noise here. If you were to say, put it on your guitar. So in theory, you'll get an A440, an A note, pure A note that you can use to tune your A string, and then you can tune all the rest of your strings relative to that. Then we got this Boss TU2. I think they're up to TU3 now. This is clearly a pedal, so this gives you the on-off. It's got an input and an output, and then two outputs actually. So you can have this on a pedal board or whatever. You plug it in, and you can even have it go to the regular output, which means when you click the tuner, it cuts the guitar signal, and then you just tune, and then you click it again to let the guitar signal go through, which can be really handy when you're on stage and you just want to make sure that you're tuning quietly and you're cutting the signal entirely. Or if you're going to unplug your guitar and plug a different one in or whatever without having to turn the amp off, it's nice to just kind of be able to turn that on and off. But it also has a bypass to where it's just either on or off, but the signal doesn't get cut. So it'll always go through to the next pedal or to the amp or whatever you've got coming next. And it's got two modes. It's got a kind of an arrows left or right, either you're too sharp or too flat, or it's also got a strobe, which will kind of like rotate in one direction or the other and then slow down closer as you get closer to the chosen pitch. This also has a whole bunch of modes on it where you can do guitar specific drop tuning, double drop tuning, bass, or just pure chromatic, where it'll either show you the note that you're playing, or on the guitar mode it'll show you like which string it'll say that you're trying to get to. And then finally we've got just a phone. I've got plenty of apps that kind of can do some tuning related things. These are the three that are specifically tuners. There's tunable, which I don't really use all that much, but you can kind of see it's picking up on my voice right now. So it's just, and you can dial in some of the like the sensitivity, which I find to be really useful, because I actually want less sensitivity in a lot of cases rather than more. The same goes for the Peterson. You can see that thing's going crazy. It's got all these various layers of fidelity, I guess, where it kind of allows you to dial in. I'll tell you what I like about this one is, even though it's going crazy, and that's way more delicate than I really want or need, it has this these what they call guitar sweeteners, because the nature of the guitar is that it can never really be in tune. It's just kind of this thing. So we try to get it in tune as close as possible, so it sounds good to our ears. But there's going to be, and each guitar is different. The temperature of the room that you're in, the age of the strings, how hard you play, how hard you press down, all of these things factor in. So really, tuning should ultimately be about getting close and not worrying too much about it. But the sweetened guitar tuning, whatever they call it, preset, kind of does some of that magic for you. It's not just trying to find a pure A note, for example. It will be trying to find for a guitar specifically that kind of like slight variance, imperceptible probably to the human ear, but ultimately when you're done, you're going to get a closer pitch to what you want from the guitar than you might from just like a pure tuner. But it's not going to matter too much, really. Just kind of a nice bonus. And then this Fender Play app I like. I think it's free. You can pay to get some additional features, like there's a Pro Tuner, which is just a more sensitive tuner, and then there's the auto tuner. But my favorite is this manual version here. Let's get the volume up. Because all it does is it just gives you your individual pitches. So like A, let's see, these are set to something else. Not sure. Oh, no, here we go. Okay, yeah. So that's it. And then you can set it to where it'll just repeat. So after it decays, it just plays again. Now I like this one really kind of the best because this one and your pitchfork will rely mostly on your ear. And ultimately, that's what you want to rely on. You don't want to rely on any of these, really. These are meant to get you close. Okay, if I'm totally wildly out of tune, playing with other people or whatever, recording, then this is going to get you close. But you're going to have to dial in the tuning yourself anyway by just using your ear. You see people on stage sometimes or performing whatever they're playing, and then they start to, you don't even know they're out of tune because to your ear it sounds fine, but then they're up there like making little adjustments to their tuners or whatever. That's how it's just how it's going to be. You're always going to be the final judge of whether or not you're in tune is your own ear. So these are just kind of meant to get you close. So the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I've accumulated these over the years, and it's too much. This one I never use. This one I think I bought because it also had a metronome, but I don't like the metronome on it, so I never use that. Plus it's just kind of inconvenient. I bought this because it was kind of cool. I was like, oh, what if I just tune my guitar by ear all the time using a pitchfork? How old-fashioned and neat would that be? And that's kind of cool, but you can't rely on that in a like a stage environment because you need perfect quiet in order to hear it and be able to dial it in. So that's not going to help you. Plus, it just gives you the one note. So then you got the Snark, which is fine. These is fine. The NS Micro is fine. The only thing I don't like about this is it's too small, right? It's meant to be small, so it's doing what it's meant to do. But for my purposes, I much prefer something with a bigger display, like this other D'Addario. And of course, these clip on, and they can move in all kind of directions. And even though you could buy multiple tuners and have them all on different guitars, you could just buy one nice one and just move it. Right? It's a clip. It's simple. So really, I don't use these. And I do use the Boss, which is way more than you'd ever want to spend on a tuner unless you're building a pedal board, because you don't need this level of quality and whatever, just like bulletproofness out of a normal an everyday acoustic guitar tuner or whatever. First of all, you got to plug in for it to even work. It also doesn't have a microphone, and but if you're building a pedal board, a tuner is pretty much essential. There are a lot of options now that are good. D'Addario also makes a pedal. Korg makes pedals. I think Peterson, who makes the StroboSoft app, makes a pedal now, and they also make a clip-on tuner. I haven't tried either of those, but I imagine they're good with the sweeteners and all that kind of stuff. But really, when it comes down to it, I use the clip-on tuner mostly. And then I like to have a tuner on my phone in case I'm somewhere where I don't have a tuner or I forgot one or whatever. So we've kind of got 3 different styles here, and I feel like this kind of covers the bases. This Boss requires a direct input. You got to have an electric guitar and be able to plug something into it in order for it to help you. Then you've got the D'Addario clip-on tuner, or clip-on tuners in general, which use vibration. So it also doesn't have a microphone. But you can just clip it on something, so that works really nicely. Both of these work really nicely in a loud environment. But then you've kind of got this as a last resort. You've either got this sort of manual approach where it just plays the note and it relies on you to hear the note and then play along with it and dial it in. Or you can use something like the Peterson, where it'll use the microphone and help you dial it in that way. The Peterson in particular allows you to just get so fine-grained with it that I think it's kind of just overkill. Ultimately, like I said, you want to get close. So a tuner that's just going to be like freaking out because it's not 100% perfect is not all that useful, because there's like you're getting within micro adjustments to where nobody's going to be able to tell, not even you. So don't feel like you're a slave to the tuner, right? If it's still jumping around but it sounds good to you, you play some chords, then don't worry about it, right? So sometimes a more sensitive tuner is actually kind of a detriment. I like ones that are kind of just, you're close, and then use your ear to go the last little way. So I just kind of wanted to cover that. I think if you're in the market for a tuner, it's important to consider what you're going to be using it for. If you got a pedal board, a pedal-based tuner is pretty much the way to go. But I think even then, having a clip-on tuner around is also very handy, because sometimes you might want to play unplugged, or you have an acoustic guitar that doesn't have an output, or whatever. You don't want to have to plug into your pedal board all the time just to tune. You want something that's quick and easy. And then I think that having something on your phone, if you're like most people and you carry a phone around with you everywhere, it's good to have one in your pocket when you need it. So don't overthink it. Pick one up, stick with it, and then most importantly, don't be a slave to it. Let it get you close to the pitches that you want to get to, and then play some chords, play some notes on your guitar, listen to it, play up and down the neck, see if it's close. If something sounds a little off, don't go back to the tuner and go, oh, I need to fix that A because it's a little off. Use your ear. At that point, once you're close, you no longer really can benefit from these, because it's kind of like, well, the tuner got me close, and then I listened to it and I didn't like, it sounded a little off. So don't go back to the thing that put it in that state to begin with, right? From that point, now that you know that you're close, just start dialing again with your ear. So that's my advice about tuners, and kind of just an explanation of various different styles. So if you're out there getting started with guitar, or building a pedal board, or looking for some good apps, I think all of these are good options. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.